Hello all, Jody Mueller here. Sorry about the YouTube that I have to do because Facebook Live isn't working and the Homeland Security or FBI was involved in sabotaging my laptop and my phones while I was in DC exposing judges, lawyers, and GALs. So I just wanted to make this video real quick to go ahead and expose those people that are guilty of crimes against my children and myself. And number one is Judge Huscher. Judge Randy Huscher of Dallas County, Iowa, believed it was okay to keep my children from me after they were abducted by my ex-spouse. Said that because we don't communicate, I can't see my kids. And then he came up with something, said because the court recognized I had PTSD, I can't mother my kids. So for Randy Huscher, I told you in the courtroom, and I am going to stand by this, that I will sue you for an ADA violation, sir. And that my attorney helped with this and stated I had PTSD. But it's PTSD-like symptoms because I was triggered by not seeing my children that I raised. I raised all four of my children alone after my ex abducted my first two in 2000. I got them all back and I was the primary caregiver all their life. He was an absent father and called our children maybe every 6 to 8 weeks. From 2000 until 2012, he saw our children a total of 40 to 50 days total from 2000 to 2012. When he did show up until about 2011, he stayed with me. I would go pick him up, and I let him bond with these children. So if there's anyone out there believing it's something different, then I don't know what else to tell you, but this is the absolute truth. So, also, Obama started a National Fathers Initiative. In my opinion, I believe this has ruined good fathers and has definitely ruined mothers. Because when we go into the courtroom and say that our children have been neglected or abandoned by an absent father, apparently there's some funding going on and they're giving fathers the children. And so I want people to look that up too. The National Fathers Initiative. All right. So VAWA, also Violence Against Women Act, that's not helping mothers either. That money's going in to help fathers. No, I'm not against fathers. I'm not against fathers that want to be in their children's lives. So I don't want that taken wrong. I am against fathers that are absent, don't care to be around their children, and then come in, kidnap the children, abduct the children, coerce the children, manipulate the children, and turn the children against the mother for no reason whatsoever. I'm against the parental alienation tactics being used on my children, and this is mental abuse. It's mental abuse. Look it up, child psychological abuse in the DSM-5 V995.51. Also, I want to call out Gregory Hulse, Hulse. He was a judge in 2013 that thought it would be cute to give custody to my ex-spouse, once again, who was never a part of these children's lives. So he thought it would be okay to separate siblings. All four were from the same mother and father, but he separated 2 and 2. So when he did that, my twins were devastated, losing a brother and a sister, which made it very easy 2 years later for my ex to convince my twins to get on an airplane and come back to the vile state of Iowa, which is full of corruption. And Governor Kim Reynolds approves of this. Former Governor Reynolds former Governor Branstad approved of this. The legislators of Iowa are doing nothing about this. There's no expedited hearings for people in Iowa or nationwide. We go 650, 700, 800 days or more without even having a hearing. Well, our children that have been abducted are sitting there being isolated and taught to hate us. In my case, the same thing. I have a daughter that said I need to have my head cut off. Said that ISIS is peaceful. France massacres haven't happened, and she's delusional. She needs to get help immediately. I've got another child that said that kidnapping is legal. And then if anyone was caught kidnapping a child, they would just have to tell law enforcement that it's a hoax and they're making a movie. He's somewhat right there. He's 19, but he is somewhat correct in the fact that the cops will do nothing. So if a parent abducts a child, they do nothing. They just say it's a civil matter. Well, I have news for them. It's not a civil matter. It's a criminal matter. Kidnapping is a crime. Whether you're a parent, a neighbor, or a PTA lady like Sharon Rhodes Lane from North Richland Hills, Texas, that enticed my children into getting in a car so she could drive them to the DFW airport with no food, no money, nothing, and dump them off at the curb like trash. That's child trafficking. Also, these children are working and then getting money stolen from their father. That, again, is child trafficking. Coming right out of their accounts. Okay, I also want to call out Nicole Garbus Nolan. She's a guardian ad litem at the Youth Law Center in Des Moines, Iowa. So since she's already against me and already talking about me to the judge, I'm going to call her out right now. And she needs to step down as a guardian ad litem. She is not educated in parental alienation, hostile aggressive parenting, parentification, adultification, triangulation, none of this. She's used to taking children from law-abiding homes, in China cases, anything to do with CPS, DFS, whatever. And she enjoys her job of taking children from these law-abiding homes. But now I'm in a FINA case. I don't have a China case. I filed a FINA case. So for those of you listening, a FINA is a families in need of assistance. All you have to prove is there's a breakdown of the relationship between the parent and the child. Look it up in your state. It may be called something different. But just so nobody steers you otherwise, there is funding for this. There's funding called Title IV B. B as in boy funding. To get your children the therapy they need and your family the therapy that they need. Because of the breakdown of the relationship between the parent or the child, whether it's a mother or father. But when these parental alienation tactics are used, it's taken away half of the child's whole heritage. The grandparents, the aunts and uncles, everybody. Even siblings, like in my case. That's what happened in mine. And that's why they were easily enticed to go to the dark side. Because they'd already missed their older two siblings. And in fact, the older sibling was a puppet master and taught to do the bidding of the abusive father. I'm in no way saying anything bad about my oldest. I know she needs help. If she's watching this, I love her. I think about her every day, just like I do my other children. But she's being mentally abused badly. So my son and all three children are being mentally abused badly. So when Nicole Garbus Nolan is showing bias towards my ex, who's a child abuser, and doesn't want to get my children help in a FINA case, that really says something about the funding that's going on, doesn't it? And I also want to call out guardian ad litem, Jane Rosine. Jane Rosine is in Marion County in Winterset, Iowa. She started this whole ball rolling in 2013 and wrote a false report saying that the older two children didn't have anything to do with me, were estranged. They're not estranged. They're alienated. There's a difference. And she thought it'd be okay for them to be separated, these four children, but said that my younger two children, which are twins, were very, very close to me. So how is it that the twins are very, very close to me, and within months of him taking the first two, he gets those two as well? Big red flag. Another red flag for these guardian ad litems is if an ex-spouse is willing to retain an attorney to keep the children from the other parent when there's never been a finding of abuse, neglect, or unfitness, that's a big red flag, don't you think? Big red flag. You might want to get educated in what parental alienation is. But I would say that's the biggest red flag right there. And you're all clueless and just wanting this funding for Title IV-D. This is disgusting. So another one I want to call out is Judge Clogg, C-L-O-G-G of Dallas County. He approved a motion to withdraw on one of my attorneys, which was Rich Webster, who I'm calling out as well, of West Des Moines, Iowa. After he approved this withdrawal, he stated that I had 60 days to find another attorney and to finish my court case. Well, I did find my other attorney. When I did, I asked for, just like I was with Rich Webster, I asked for an expert in alienation. And that's why Rich Webster did his motion to withdraw. So when I asked the new attorney, he says, you will never win unless you get an expert. Never win without an alienation expert. So when I filed for an expert, it was quashed. Why? Because they said I didn't have it ordered or requested outside of the 90 days. And I don't know how I could when I was never given 90 days. Okay, so that goes to Judge Clogg. I also asked Judge Clogg in the motion to withdraw hearing if I could see my children's faces. I had not seen them at that point for 500 days. He said this is an inappropriate place for that. I said it's not appropriate for my kids to be abducted either and put on an airplane in the middle of the night while I was at work, for me to come home and to be traumatized and think my children are dead. That was not appropriate either to do to a mother or any parent. Okay, then Judge Marty Mertz. Oh, Marty Mertz. You're well known in Iowa. Marty Mertz tries to do counseling for you while the clock is ticking and you're paying an attorney. And she tells you how you once loved each other and how you should get along. That counseling took an hour of my time. I told her to get off the subject and to move on. My children at that point, that was in early 2013, had been abducted from the school, from the high school, 2 of them. Not all 4, because he only chooses 2 at a time to alienate them from one another. So that was April 2013, and Marty Mertz from the 5th Judicial District of Iowa, stated that after 28 days of me not seeing my children, that 29 won't matter, and that I was forced to send my twins to the kidnapper's home. My twins were devastated. They were scared to death they were never going to see their mother again. I was told if I didn't deliver these children to the man, that I would be put in jail. But he was never, ever told he would go to jail for abducting children. There's a problem. So Iowa legislators, you better listen up. Governor Reynolds, listen up. Do your damn jobs. Do your jobs. And get expedited hearings for those of us. Our kids are being isolated. These judges are committing racketeering, RICO, and you know about it. You know, not only have I told you, but other parents have told you, and that's malfeasance of office. We're never stopping. We're not going to stop until all these judges are in prison. And most likely, some of the legislators will be too. I'm asking also for Governor Reynolds to step down because she's allowing these abuses to our children to continue. And she's making money off of this, hand over fist, to build up her little city of Parkersburg that was obliterated by a tornado. That was also evidenced in the Iowa Federation of Republican Women meeting when Governor Branstad just ignored my questioning. He did, however, say he was going to sign a proclamation proclaiming Parental Alienation Awareness Day, April 25th, and said if he wouldn't sign it, that Governor Reynolds would when she moved over. However, she has refused. So she is allowing children to be abused, mentally, sexually, physical, in all sorts of manner, and doing nothing about it. So I'm asking her to step down as governor And also for anyone running for governor to take this seriously about parental alienation. This is a crime. This is a hate crime. This is an emotional holocaust. And if you're not going to do anything about it, then you shouldn't be running for governor. The mayor, Tom Armstrong of Grimes, Iowa, has been the only mayor that has recognized parental alienation because it's happening right in his own city, in his own schools, right there, where my 4 children go that are being alienated. And where Mr. Dylan Wyckoff lost his child. But once again, Wyckoff doesn't say anything. The father's rights is helping him. I would think the media would want to contact me since I'm the one that got the parental alienation proclamation signed in Iowa. The only one. The only one. In the same city where that little boy, where that little boy's life was ended. And where my children's lives have been ended, really. Because this parental alienation, I feel like my children are dead. I have to mourn a living death every day. And they have to mourn a living death of their mother every single day. So I want to know where Governor Reynolds stands on this now. If she thinks she's going to be running for governor, who is she helping? She's not helping children of Iowa, that's for sure. She's not helping the alienated children. She's not helping the other children that have CPS issues taken by law-abiding homes. Mine is not a CPS case, once again. This is strictly parental abduction, parental alienation, hostile aggressive parenting, parentification, adultification. I can't even get the records from my children's school. Scott Bloom, the principal, has denied me my children's records. All I get is report cards. One of my children was hurt in a cheerleading accident. I was never told. She's already got reconstructive surgery. I don't know what it's on. Is it on her leg, hip, ankle? I have no idea. Never been told. Why? Because my ex got so legal. My ex-spouse, who abandoned these children, who was never around in their life, got so legal. All for the Title IV defunding. And I've sat with Senator Chuck Grassley and talked to him about it. I told him this is malfeasance of office because he's now been told. I've talked to Congressman King, the only congressman that's actually researching things. And just so Governor Reynolds and all the other legislators know, I have a sit-down meeting with the FBI very soon. All of you will be named. Every one of you will be named in this racketeering and unjust enrichment taking place in the state of Iowa. For not only me, but for other mothers and fathers all over Iowa. So I just wanted to let you know that my computer, phone, and everything else has been hacked by either the FBI, Homeland Security, or whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm still out here. I'm still exposing you all. And I will continue to expose you all until all of us law-abiding citizens get to see our children. You are violating our fundamental rights. You're violating the Constitution. And you have zero moral fabric about you. Zero. Zero integrity. Unbelievable. How long would you go without your kids? How long would you go without your grandkids? Kim Reynolds, I want to know. For someone like myself that's never had a problem with alcohol, nor drug abuse or anything, and I'm talking to you, Kim Reynolds, as a recovered alcoholic, why do you get to see your children? Why do you get to see them? Why do you get to see your grandchildren, man? I've never had an issue with alcohol, and I don't see my children. So I'd like to know that. Why are you so great as a recovered alcoholic, if you are recovered, in fact? I don't know. Why do you get to see your children and grandchildren? And why are you doing nothing about the people that aren't? Law-abiding parents and grandparents not seeing their kids. Their whole heritage gone. Ripped from them. Because you're appointing judges that are vile, disgusting pigs. This should be in prison. And you do nothing. We make countless phone calls to your office and you say, it's a civil matter. What the hell? What do you do all day besides go talk about ag? You and Joni Ernst. What do you do all day? I've been in your office. I don't see you. So where are you? Are you sending out court watchers to our courtrooms? I don't know. I've got one on September 29th. Love to see your ass sitting there as a court watcher. Why don't you send Mr. Colin Smith there to sit there? How about that? Why don't you send some of your right-hand people to sit in my court case? Okay? It'll be in the juvenile courtroom. Okay? So why don't you send someone there to watch this unfold, to watch the abuse of these judges and what they do and don't do? Watch the guardian ad litem as she tears my children apart and does nothing for them. Children don't unilaterally hate parents. They just don't do it. This isn't right. They just don't do it. Research parental alienation. Governor Reynolds. I've already visited Chuck Grassley about you, Steve King. I've sat there and exposed you and a lot of these legislators doing nothing about this. If Oklahoma can have expedited hearings for these cases, why can't Iowa? Why are you allowing our children to be isolated for years before we even get a hearing? And by the time we get a hearing, what do you think these children want to do? Of course they don't want to be with us. They don't even know us anymore. Okay? So why don't you do something, do your job, and help the children in your state? Or you're going to need these mental facilities that Governor Branstad shut down. You're going to need them for our children in the future, real soon. We're never stopping. We're never stopping. And we're coming for our children. And we're also going to make sure that you're not governor.